Hey everyone, I'm Victor Frost, and this is Steven Universe Universe, the show where we talk about the universe of Steven Universe. First things first, the news. First things first, the astute viewer might have noticed that there was no episode last week, and that this episode is significantly delayed. In fact, I am recording this on Thursday because, well, there are two reasons. First of all, the camera that is recording me right now, the one that I used to make these videos and all my other videos, had to be sent in for repairs, and I only got it back recently. Number two, even though I could have made a episode about the Uncle Grandpa Steven Universe crossover, it seems that it was not canon, as writer Matt Burnett led us to believe on Twitter. So since it's not canon, and since anything that is non-canon does not affect the universe of Steven Universe, the Steven Universe universe, if you will, then it doesn't need an episode of Steven Universe Universe to be made for it, 'cause I'm lazy. For actual news, unless you've been living under a polymorphic sentient rock, you probably already know that the Steven Universe mobile game, Attack the Light, dropped on the 2nd of this month. Now, for the reasonable price of $2.99, it provides a pretty solid RPG experience, and the production quality is high. I wholly approve of the music that's being used, even if it wasn't done by the composers for the actual show. It's a damn good game for a good price, and it's currently available on all three major app stores, that is to say the Google Play Store, the Amazon App Store, and the iOS Store. Sorry, Windows Phone users, yeah, you didn't luck out this time. So let's see what you folks in the fandom have been up to. It's time for review. Left for Fluffy by Chadar2014 asks the important question: what would happen if a mysterious space virus that could turn humans and gems into fluffy zombie-like creatures infected Beach City? This is a work in progress, and let me tell you, I am so glad I caught this one early because, good God, this is terrible. I mean, it's just awful. The grammar is horrendous. I don't think I could read more than one chapter of this, even if I wanted to. I mean, it's so bad. I'm not entirely sure it wasn't done this way on purpose. Here, let me read you just a little bit of it, okay? Steven wake up in his bed and look around the living room so quiet, said from Steven himself. Call of this mother's friends as they aren't responded, so he walking at Gem's teleport pad for 4 minutes with Amethyst or Amethyst look-like come out of teleport pad. And Steven was happy that he not alone. As he walked to fridge to get his favorite soft drink, Dr. Chad to himself and Amethyst for seemingly waiting the Garnet and Pearl to return from their mission. As Steven was getting to fridge, as Amethyst is walking slowly to fridge, Steven start talking to Amethyst how the mission to attempted to cover an infectious bug which come from space that infected person, both gem and human, into monsters. Amethyst still walking to fridge with no respond. Steven ask her one more time if she alright and still no respond. Steven as start to grab Dr. Chad's to Amethyst and himself for nice drink. If you couldn't tell from my reading, this thing feels like the author was channeling Half-Life, Full Life Consequences. It's horrible. Unless you are a masochistic grammar Nazi, I cannot dissuade you from reading this thing enough. It gets 0 out of 5 Stevens, and it is the first to receive that distinction. Ugh. Now it's time for us to live up to our family name and face, the newest episode of Steven Universe. If you haven't yet watched the episode Story for Steven, now's your chance to pause this video, go watch that one, then come back. Don't worry, we'll wait. So, new episode, new lore. Let's see what we learned. The big theme of this episode is choice and how it affects our lives. Over the course of the series, we've seen Greg as a, go with the flow kind of guy. He takes many situations in stride and even defers parenting decisions to the gems at times when maybe he should be putting a little bit more thought into it himself. This seems to come from his own lack of confidence in himself, which we have seen rear its ugly head more than once. It's because of this that we, or at least me and my friends, cheer Greg on whenever he does put his foot down about something and show some agency about his life. This is the focus of this episode. Marty and Greg's relationship wasn't one between friends. It was one between a talent and a manager. Part of having a manager means that you defer a certain amount of your agency to them, so that in the long term, they can effectively enact their own knowledge and expertise with your talent to benefit the both of you in the long term. As a manager, your goal isn't to solely act on your own best interests, but on the best interests of your talent first and on yours secondly. The sacrifice of the prioritization of interests being compensated with money or some other form of payment. In Greg's case, Marty was simply exploiting him, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's normal for a manager to orchestrate the lives of their talents. That's how things get done. But Marty took no consideration into the desires and wishes that Greg had. When Greg wanted to give away a t-shirt for free, Marty said no, citing his own selfish reasons. When Greg was demoing his song for Rose, Marty shot it down because of its lack of marketability. And when Greg wanted to turn around and go back to Beach City, Marty flat out said that his wishes were irrelevant. And this is where we see one of the most important moments in the series. If Greg had been just a little more passive, just a little less self-assured, things in the universe of Steven Universe would have transpired radically differently. This isn't just the story of how Greg's music career ended or his falling out with his manager Marty. This is the very beginning of the story of Steven Universe. Stepping away from Greg, we see the fence that Pearl mentioned in Full Disclosure. A wonderful classic chain link fence. I can't imagine why she would want to put barbed wire on top of it. And we do get to see Amethyst, but she's a bit different. More childlike, I guess. You guys know I hate speculating on this sort of thing, but maybe her loss of Rose forced her to grow up a bit emotionally. There's definitely a distinction between, I'm assuming, 80s Amethyst and today Amethyst. I don't know, it's quite a distinction. Oh, speaking of Rose, we do get to see her a little bit, and we can definitely see what personality traits and characteristics made the transfer between Rose and Steven. Especially that face she made at the end, that was just great. And that's what we learned this week on Steven Universe. Join us tomorrow when I finally finish the episode for this week's episode, Shirt Club. And hey, before you go, just want to make a recommendation. If you like this show, you may want to check out the other shows that I do on a weekly basis. Friday Night Party Line and Acceptable Vices. Tomorrow, we're going live, as always, with my two co-hosts, Churba and Nelson, talking about the game Spec Ops the Line. We'll be live right here on this YouTube channel, probably at about 8 o'clock Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. I'll post a link to the Google Plus event in the show notes, and you should definitely check it out. It's a really fun show. Anyways, I'm Victor Frost, and this is Steven Universe. See you next time. Laundry day, I see you there, under things tumbling. I wanna say, I love your hair, here I go, mumbling. With my freeze ray, I will stop the world, boom, boom, boom. It's not a death beam or a nice ray, that's old Johnny Snow. I just think you need time to know that I'm the guy to make it real. The feelings you don't dare to feel, I'll bend the world to our will, and we'll make time stand still. Tra le mie braccia fragili stringi il vuoto che sa di te. Respiro le tue parole che vivono in una melodia. Melodia. E dolcemente sognerò i luminosi tramonti riflessi nei tuoi occhi languidi e grandi, le mie perle d'amore in uno sguardo tu sai donare un sorriso mio voto che ora ti cerca tra lacrime che hanno formato oceano. Yeah, that's good.